Hey boo! Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Chef Meat. Today we are going to be doing a good old comfort food, baby. Swedish meatballs with some white rice and some steamed cabbage. I was in the mood for some rice and gravy. I had me some good old ground pork in the freezer, so I said, you know what? We're going to make us some Swedish meatballs today, baby. Let's go. So we're going to start off with our ground pork. Now you can use ground beef. You can use ground lamb. You can use all three. You can use ground turkey, tofu, whatever you want to use. I chose to use ground pork because I had this in the freezer. It's been in there for a few months, so I was like, you know what? I'm finally ready to use this pork, so let's do it. All right, so before I get down and dirty, I'm going to go ahead and prepare everything that I'm going to put into this, so that way once I put my gloves on, I don't have to touch the meat and then go back and touch everything else. So I'm going to start off by chopping my garlic. And I'm going to just add my garlic and some green onions to this little bowl here. And then we're going to chop a style. Chop a style. Alright, so my green onions there. Just going to add a handful or two. And then we're going to get it done. Alright, so now that I have my seasonings open, I have my vegetables chopped up and ready to go. Everything is right. Let me throw my gloves on. So here you will see me creating like a bowl in the middle of my ground pork. And that's where I'm going to pour all of my ingredients. First starting with my garlic and green onion mixture. Okay, so here we got this cute little brown egg. We're going to go ahead and crack that baby off into there just like that. Alright, so here I have some panko breadcrumbs, which are gluten-free. So this is a gluten-free recipe minus the gravy because I do use flour. So, but you can substitute with different types of flour. They do have almond flour. Alright, so here we're going to add some salt. Alright. Next, we're going to put some oregano. Sprinkle. I gotta open that top. Okay, so here I have some dropped parsley. Now, someone said use basil in their recipe, but I don't know, I like parsley better. And then here I have like a garlic salt mixture I'm using, which this is going to be majority of my flavor, so you'll see me add a lot. And then lastly, we're going to add some good old black pepper. Alright, so before I mix everything up, I'm going to take this extra virgin olive oil and I'm going to add some water to it to create like, I'm going to say a moisturizer and or a binding agent, I'm not sure. But basically, we're going to pour this in and then it's going to help us create that sticky, I guess, yeah, the bond that we want to keep the meatball together. Okay? Squish it around. So I am going to go back and add some more breadcrumbs just to help give me the thickness that I want. Okay, because we did add the oil and the water and the egg, so now I'm adding the breadcrumbs to kind of absorb some of that moisture. Okay. All right, I think we are at the consistency I'm looking for. Oh yeah, look how sticky that is. Oh yeah, binding together perfectly. So now we are going to cover this, and then we are going to refrigerate it for an hour. Now you can allow it to sit for longer if you like, but your girl is hungry, so we're going to do an hour, which goes by pretty damn fast. All right, voila, see you in the next step. So it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and take this top off and see what we're looking like. Let your girl put her gloves on because we're about to get dirty. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this sea salt. And that's because I added the breadcrumbs at the end. I did not season, so I went back and did that. Alright, I'm going to spray my pan down with this avocado oil. And I forgot to preheat my oven, so I had to go turn the oven on real quick. Alright, so now we are going to take this ground pork mixture that we made. Yum, yum. It's nice and firm, just like I prefer my mix to be. Okay, we are going to roll them off into egg-shaped meatballs, so that way when they cook, they will settle into nice round balls. Alright, but first, as you see, I'm going to mix that salt up in there. Make sure we get it nice and evenly distributed throughout the mixture. We don't want any areas too salty. Don't want nobody choking. So here you see me rolling it into the egg shape like I was just speaking about. Alright, and then we're going to put that down. And we're going to continue the process until it's all done. Right, and we are done. Look at that. Looking good, looking good. Nice, juicy, and fat, just like I like it. Alright, so let's go ahead and put that in the oven. So I got it on 350, and we're going to leave it in there for about 20 minutes. But while we wait on that, let's go ahead and work on our sauce. So as you see, our gravy, sorry. So here I'm just showing you all of the different ingredients that we're going to be using. We got the garlic and herb butter, the green onions, got some heavy whipping cream right here, some water, some sea salt, some liquid beef broth, and then I'm about to cut up some nice little thin onions. Okay, so the reason why I cook my onions thin is because I don't really want the onions to take over the plate. I do want the flavor of the onions, and I do want that crunch of the onion, but I don't want a whole lot, so we're just gonna do them thin like that. Okay. So before I make my gravy, you know I gotta steam my spinach real quick because I only got one pan. So here you will see me steaming my spinach off real quick. It was frozen, so I just got it in a pan with some butter, some what is that? Maggie's or Maggie? What's Maggie name? Whatever, Maggie's, and which is basically some chicken bouillon and some pepper and a little bit of sea salt. Okay. Oh, here you go, Maggie. That's what I'm using, okay? So I'm just gonna let this steam off for a few more minutes, and I'm gonna remove this from the pan so we can start on our gravy. Okay, so here's my spinach. Just nice and simple. I needed some greens in my diet today, so I just decided to go ahead and cook the rest of my spinach. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin with our gravy. So I'm going to put a little bit of the garlic and herb butter into the pan so that I can saute my onions and my green onion. And slide my veggies to the side while I add the rest of my butter to the pan, and that way I can go ahead and make my slew for the gravy. So I am going to go and get me some flour. Let me stir my vegetables up real quick, make sure they don't burn too much. So I'm going to take some all-purpose flour here, and I added probably about a good big full tablespoon. Okay, I'm adding in pinches, but it's about a good tablespoon. All right, so I'm just going to allow that to mix with the butter, and then I'm going to mix everything together, and then we're going to slowly start to add the water in, okay? Okie dokie, it's time to go ahead and start slowly adding water in. So here I'm going to add my liquid beef broth, and I'm putting a cup of water. So we're going to go ahead and stir that up to get our slur mixed into the water and the beef broth as well. Alright, so it's starting to thicken up. Let's go ahead and add some more water. Okay, and the reason why you want to slowly add water is because you do have to break the flour down every time that you add water, so you don't want to add too much and get overwhelmed, and you got to add more flour. So yeah, we're just gonna slowly add that in, okay? All right, so now that this is nicely mixed, I did feel like it needed more water, so I went ahead and added almost another 2 cups of water. And then I also added some more beef broth as well, okay? Just because I want to make sure that my meatballs are fully covered because they are huge. And I want to make sure I got enough gravy because the whole point of this dish was for me to get some gravy on this rice, okay? So now that we're done adding everything, let's go back and add a little bit of seasoning. Got some sea sauce, some black pepper, and then we're going to add in some heavy whipping cream, and that's just going to give our gravy that nice creamy whip appeal that we love on top of our rice. At least I do. Okay. All right. Plus, if this was darker, it would give it a nice little light color to it. But my gravy came out more the color of a chicken gravy this go around, which, shit, I ain't mad at it. It tastes just fine. It's delicious. Let me go and get me a little tasty taste. Yes, this is absolutely perfect. Perfect. So I just got my meatballs out of the oven, and we are getting ready to add them to the gravy as the gravy thickens up. And this will just let the meatballs cook into the sauce and kind of let the flavors infuse with each other. Ooh, yes, this is coming to the last steps. And I am so hungry, so I am really, really excited about eating this fucking dish, okay? Alright, so we're just going to stir everything up like that. And I'm just going to make sure that my meatballs are spread out. And then I'm going to cover it and let that simmer for a little bit. Let that gravy thicken up, okay? So we are back. And now, as you see, the gravy has thickened up nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. And then we are going to remove the meatballs and the gravy from the pan, baby, because they are ready. They are ready. Isn't she lovely? Woo! Isn't she wonderful? Do you see that? Yes, it's time to turn the fuck up on this dinner, okay? So I'm just gonna put this over some rice, baby, like I was saying. I'm gonna put my little spinach on the side. Then we gonna give it this nice little ride. Now, if I had a man, I would give him a ride afterwards, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Anyway, yeah, so you see how small those onions are, baby. Look at that. Y'all, this shit tasted so good. You know, I had to break it down, let you see what's on the inside. Yes, it was giving me a hard time, but here we are. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a great day. Please continue to watch Cooking with Chef Neat.